Is it a bad thing if our lineage evolved somewhere else, came, let's say, 17,000 years ago in a massive colonization event just at the time of the end of the Ice Age, and filled all the continents with their lineage? And sure, there was another, according to our records in all civilizations, is that there was some terrible event that happened around 10,000 years ago that reduced us back to hunters and gatherers and lost the ability to read and write. Survivors after a terrible dark age where there was perhaps not even sunlight from the meteoric impact that caused the end of the Ice Age. So we've lost all that. We're kind of now being visited by our people that are probably our ancestors, and they're trying to teach us this. If you look at the last few, let's say 3,000 years, there's been these visitors that come down in discs that shine like the sun. And in the old days, they were gods, they were angels, but in modern times, it's a different subject. Our powers that be that run our countries want to be separated from anything religious, and it is a UFO, and these are aliens. And because we don't know what they want to do, they must be treated as a threat. And because we humans, we must now protect our world. We just shoot them out at the sky and then ask questions later. And that's, I'm afraid, the world protocol at the moment, is to shoot and then ask questions later. And we're not going to see gentle entities come down and them risking landing on the White House front lawn. The chances are they'll just never be allowed to leave again. And I think they know that very well. They probably watch all our media. They probably even listen into White House meetings that we have no idea of the technology. They could listen to everything that we do, think, say on a secret level. They're watching us, and for all we know, there could be spirits present in these meetings and know our intentions. And our intentions as a human society are destructive and profiteering, and we've got to make changes. And this is where I feel my story can help, because it shows something that I believe is the most important thing that's been covered up in humanity's history. Two very important things. Number one, every single human on the face of this planet has a physical origin that is sacred and not of this earth. And that makes it a beginning on this planet as being sacred and equal, because we come from a much higher, more evolved past. And sadly, we're survivors on this little planet Earth. And the way civilizations developed, being in control of kings who want power and glory, they've legalized things like war, conquering, enslaving people and taking their wealth, and it's gone all the way through history up until now. And we look at it as being, oh, that's the past, but it's still alive and well and flourishing under the new economy, strange politics that allow it to continue. And it looks like a strange religious disagreement, and there's war taking place, but there's people still taking other people's wealth, and whole groups of people that are being, I wouldn't say enslaved is the real direct word now, to say they're basically having a lot less in life than they should have in life. The cost of education, I mean, look how high it is for a lot of these people. There used to be 1 billion people that were suffering just a few years ago. This latest economic crunch has doubled it already. When you at this cosmic tree, you find the others there present with you, and there's a little ritual where you all stand around the cosmic tree and hold hands, and that sharing, touching just the hands in front of this cosmic tree, when you are there, you realize an amazing thing. And you understand the I of yourself. The I that is me is the same I that is you. And the you, that what you think is the I that you call yourself, is the same as me. And this is quite scary now. This means that every little gift of life is put in from this cosmic tree, came from the same places, of the same matter. It might even be, my soul is also in your life, what you call your life realm. It's me. It's actually, we are the same, just given individuality. Now think about that. You suddenly realize that every suffering human being on this earth is not only connected to the cosmic tree, and the creation makes it quite clear that there's billions of people suffering on your world. What can you do to relieve that? Because I'm feeling the suffering. And you think, okay, but all these people are actually myself suffering. If we're all the same people in different time runs, every little bit of life in the universe is the same I that we are, given that little individuality thing, which makes me think, okay, well, it doesn't matter about you. We need to start thinking of all of us as a one, and to realize that I still don't like to believe that everybody out there suffering is actually me out there in a different life realm. What can we do to it? You start getting emotionally affected by it, but what can you do? You've got to think of something that can change the society without causing more grief and upsetting the politics, because they'll quieten you. You'll be deleted.
You say that civilization started on this planet 17,000 years ago, potentially, according to your research and your theories. There are many ancient ruins that exist on this planet that are dated to way older.
Yes.
Who do you reckon was involved with the construction of those?
Yeah, in my book I put a date measuring a position of a star, because we have these star maps that I've found all around the world using the Egyptians, the Sumerians, even Stonehenge. Every ancient site seems to have this pattern sacred. The date 17,000 years ago seems to be a mass colonization date. So to me, that's when we really colonized this earth. But if you look at human records, there's a lot of cases finding human remains up to 200,000 years ago. Beyond that, even so, there's this forbidden archaeology thing. They find modern human remains that are in soil that's dated millions of years old. Our human genus is something so old, probably billions of years old, evolved from an ape, same sort of thing, but put on this planet at a time, and it was, as we know in history, it was a really harsh place. There were really a lot of meat-eating creatures. Just 10,000 years ago, every saber-toothed tiger was 4 times bigger than a lion. You know, what kind of a place is that for human beings? It might have even been a penal colony, for all we know. But the massive colonization, definitely around about 17,000 years ago, where ancient civilizations, some have pyramids or their ruins that could date even older than that. Historians like to think it's only 4,000 or 5,000 years old, maybe 10,000 at the most. Most of them seem to fit in that sort of range, but there are ancient African ruins, for example, that could be 100,000 years old. It could have been a whole group colony. The Sumerian texts speak of the earth humans that are already here, perhaps in Africa, like the out of Africa Eve theory. They seem to have the most amount of mutations. They've been here perhaps a lot longer in Africa. Africa would have been quite a nice place as well. If you've seen the rest of the world in ancient times, Africa during the Ice Age would have been very pleasant, not as hot as it is now. You can imagine a colder earth. Yeah, so there is that evidence that there's these time realms, and I think in time we'll know exactly what fits in with what time realm.
What significance does your work have in relation to the dark agenda? What are the links between what you're trying to put across to people?
When you say dark agenda, are you saying destructive forces in the world?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a simple sort of terminology behind what I think is the dark agenda, and it's those of very high power, very high wealth, people that we voted into power because our society, the way TV is set up, we have programs showing the rich and wealthy and wonderful people, and we must live that dream and try and get there. A lot of people have, but this world can't have a billion billionaires because of the amount of wealth and what they're taking from the bottom of the pyramid of society, of the economy. It's a pyramid. For those folks at the top to make all their millions, it's got to come up through other people's work. The people in the middle here are quite happy because they've got nice homes and cars. That's around about 6 billion people there. There's a lot of people now. There's 5 billion, hang on, where are we? Billionaires. 10 million people at the top. That's a lot of billionaires, folks. These are the folks, these are the highest of the high that are controlling this. For them to make their dollars, it's got to be from other folk. They can't make all their millions if there's nobody here. They need people, they need mass populations, they need you to just keep breeding, go mad. And feed the factories, you know, work for nothing. But here's the thing that's sad, 50,000 people dying per day. At the bottom, those are the ones that are doing a lot of work for next to nothing, and they're just dying.